round 8, and my opponent was a player with 2504, so it's already a decent level. I was playing white. Queen's Gambit, knight f3, bishop e7, and g3. g3, castles, bishop g2. And this is, we can say, a version of the Catalan, but with knight on c3 instead of castling. And the advantage of this move order that after d takes c4, knight e5, and let's say knight c6, we take on c6, pawn takes, knight takes, queen a4, and it's better to have the king on e1 with knight on c3 rather than having the king on g1 and the knight on b1. So then with the king on g1, black can create some problems for white on the king side. In the game it was c5, so knight c6 is one of the two main moves. Another one is c5, and here we should take on c5, queen d1, knight takes d1, bishop c5, castles. And the most common move here by black is knight c6, so then we take on c6, pawn takes, bishop e3, then bishop b6 if I don't mind. Here we should take on b6 and knight c3 with a better position for white. If black knows what to do, then he will be able to hold. If not, then there are some problems for black. While in the game, black played knight d5, and this is something what I knew. This is something what I was repeating before the game. But I don't know what happened to me, what happened to my mind. I just forgot what should I play here. And it's not even like just I forgot what should I play, but I felt like I should play knight to e3. This is the right move, but somehow I felt that it's something wrong. So it's hard to explain, but so it's just, I don't know, so instead of playing knight e3, I was trying to realize what should I play. I felt like probably knight e3 is the move, but somehow I had a strong resistance to play this move, and so instead of knight e3 I just took the pawn on c4. But now after knight c6, black has no problems, since knight d4 is quite annoying in many variations. So that's why I played bishop d2, and here I was already upset since something went completely wrong. Bishop d7, rook c1, rook ac8 is an easy move. Unfortunately, there is no options about discovery attack, moving my knight somewhere. And here I did like rook e1. Of course, it's not something I would like to play, but the problem that knight d4, it's always quite annoying. So that's why I played rook e1, rook d8, now knight e3, knight takes e3, and also here, instead of just taking with the bishop, which was the best option, I took with the knight, b6, knight c4, f6. And previously I was already unhappy with my decision, with my position, but here I realized that my position is just clearly worse, and it's not obvious what to do. The problem is always about this annoying move. Another problem that next move black is going to play e5, then just placing his bishop maybe to e6 or somewhere else. At some point it can be idea about b5, about also knight b4, and looks like white's position is okay, but actually it's already worse, since I cannot make it in a let's say rook d1, but what next? So I played king f1, e5, bishop e3, finally making this move that I could have played, I don't know, 5 or 7 moves ago, or even 10 moves ago. Knight d4, rook d1, bishop g4, attacking the e2 pawn, and also this is quite annoying. And of course I don't want to play f3, then the bishop on g2, just terrible. So that's why I decided to just to cut it, and I took on d4, bishop takes b3. Black has a bishop pair, but at the moment white is still solid, so that's why my hope was not to lose this position. So king f8, h3, bishop e6, e3, bishop c5, g4, grabbing some space on the king side and also not allowing black to grab some space with h5, g5. So g4, fighting for some squares also. Bishop b4, black is preparing b5, so that's why a4. King e7, king e2, rook d1, and I decided just to give up a pawn. Of course, not taking on d1 with the king, but rook d1. And luckily, my opponent decided to take on c4. Bishop takes c4, but instead it was rook c5. It was a good move, rook c5, and still playing for a win, trying to use the bishop pair. While bishop takes c4, I was not worried about this move. Rook takes bishop d5, since I have a black belt in these positions with opposite colored bishops, but I usually win all of them when I am the strongest side, and I have no problems when I am the weak side. So rook c5, bishop g8, attacking the pawn, and maybe having like some ideas about bishop h7, bishop to f5. So rook a5, attacking the pawn, bishop b3. Now my idea is to play rook d5, trading the rooks. Rook c5, still bishop g8, h6, bishop h7, rook c3, bishop d3. Yeah, bishop f5, then just bishop d6, so not a big deal. Bishop d6, king f3, rook a3, bishop b5. So generally white would be fine about trading the rook, so that's why black cannot allow himself to do something. g6, rook c1. My idea, of course, to put my rook to the 7th or 8th rank and to attack his pawns. a6, bishop takes, e4, a nice trick, at least fighting for the light squares. If I take on e4, then rook a4. While in case if he would take immediately, then just bishop d3 and just easy draw. So e4, king g2, rook a4, bishop b7. My plan is still the same, just to attack his pawns. Bishop c5, bishop c6, attacking the rook, and rook d1 with idea of rook d7. Bishop d6, but I have another file. Rook a1 with idea of rook a7 or rook a8, f5, rook a7, king f6, bishop e8. And already it's enough, I have enough counterplay to achieve draw. So the threat is rook f7, then maybe rook g7 attacking the g6 pawn. So f take g4, h take g4, bishop e5, rook f7, king g5, rook e7. And since I can play rook e6 next move, also at some point maybe bishop c6, so black decided just to repeat the moves, and we agreed for draw. Well, the result in the end I'm happy about, but the game overall is like it went terrible. I had no chance to play for something with white pieces. I got after I played this stupid knight c4, knight takes c4. It was already I wasn't happy about my position, so I cannot really yeah, something happened with my mind, and instead of knight e3, the move which I knew but I couldn't remember it for sure, I decided to play knight takes c4. And so in the end, draw was a good result.